Welcome back. So as you can see, we got the outside nice and sanded, as well as put a couple coats of lacquer on there. So far so good. So I got it flipped around and we are going to start turning the inside. So as you can see, there's quite a bit of difference between the inside and the outside right now. So I'm going to get to turning and I'll give you guys an update here in just a few minutes. Well, instead of a couple of minutes, it's actually been a couple of hours. And if you look into the bottom of the bowl, you'll probably notice there is something different. There is an additional ring down there that wasn't on the original drawing. But as I got to turning it and looking at all the walnut, it seemed to be too much. I thought it needed to be broken up somehow. So after pondering on it for a minute or so, I decided to go ahead and glue me up another ring of the lignum vitae. And you know, sometimes you stand back and you look at something and you just know it's missing something, and that was basically the experience I had today. So by adding this ring, I think it accomplished what I was going for, a little bit of color, and also to just break up the monotony of the walnut. So you know, there's a lot of glare, which I apologize for, but I'll definitely get some better pics before this is all said and done. And if we scroll down and start looking at the side and you pay close attention to the foot, you'll notice that it's slightly different than the original drawing, and there is a reason for that. So give me just 1 second and I'll show you my final little addition to this bowl. Well, as you can see, we added a foot to it, and I guess as an artist you're kind of allowed that freedom to change things as you see fit. And with this one I decided to go ahead and put a foot on it, and it's made up of walnut. Glued up another segment ring, and where I knew the cuts would be, I glued in the lignum vitae. That wasn't a solid ring, I just added basically 3 pieces. And using the table saw and a sled, I wound up cutting the shape out of it, so I have a nice 3-claw foot. And the way it's attached, the bowl has a mortise cut into the bottom of it, or a recess, and that's actually what I use to chuck it up to turn the inside, just like I normally would. But I wound up using that to my advantage, because on the foot I turned a tenon and then used the tenon to chuck it up and then hollow out what would have been the inside of this small bowl. But of course, after cutting and everything, it became a foot, and that way it assures us that when the 2 pieces meet up, they're exactly centered, and it gives it a little bit of mechanical strength as well. So that's just glued into place. And so that's basically it. That's the whole process from start to finish of designing, cutting, gluing, and turning a bowl. So I hope everyone has got a little something out of it. And you know, they're a real fun project. You can do them on a big lathe, you can do them on a mini lathe. And there are just absolutely tons and tons of possibilities. So I hope everybody gets a little encouragement out of it and goes out and tries their own. And by all means, you know, post some pics and even your own videos. We'd all love to see them. Thanks. So that's it. We've come to the end of our segmented journey. And I hope with these videos that everyone will understand that segmented turning is not as hard as it may look, and it's a very enjoyable form of turning. I do it almost exclusively. I find myself doing solid bowls less and less now. And segmented turning can be as basic as you want it, or it can be as advanced as you want it. So with that being said, it's an art form that can grow as your skills can grow. And that's not just turning skills, that's also skills with, you know, your table saw. You can implement routers, you can implement scroll saws. There's a lot of other tools that you can combine to come up with these really interesting, intriguing new designs. One of the best guys out there, in my opinion, is Malcolm Tibbetts, and I highly recommend checking out his website, which is tahoeturner.com. The guy is just light years above me and most everyone else, honestly. So definitely check his site out. Another wonderful site is woodturnersresource.com, and it's a great group of guys. I'm there. A lot of other really talented, very helpful people are on that site. So if you're new to turning, or if you're an experienced turner, you know, come on over and check us out there. Great message boards also have a great photo gallery where you can upload your bowls as well. And in fact, this one is loaded right now. So if you want to see what this bowl looks like in a little bit better quality, come on over there and just click the link over in the sidebar, and it should take you right to it. So again, that's it. Thanks everybody for watching. And one other thing is, I had said kind of towards the beginning of the video that I like 12-sided bowls. And here is actually a video that I shot way back when, but I just didn't have time to fit it in anywhere else. So here it is, basically explaining why I like 12-sided bowls. But again, you know, the choice is yours. Experiment as much as you want, and that really, I think, is the key to doing anything. Just keep practicing and keep experimenting. You never know what you're capable of. So, thanks for watching. Now, one other thing I wanted to mention, and I talked about it earlier in the series, was that I like to use a 12-sided bowl, or 12-sided ring, excuse me. So, why do I like 12? Well, first of all, I prefer to do an even number. And again, that's because when we, run it on our sled here, if we have to, it basically has to be an even number because we have to have 2 equal halves. So that's one reason. Okay, so of course we could do, 8, 12, 10, any even number. So second thing I look at is basically pattern. Now 12, of course, is divisible by 2, but it's also divisible by 3, by 4, and by 6. So what that means is we could alternate every other piece with a contrasting wood. Stack them in a decorative way, we could have a checkerboard pattern. We could also do, every third one, every fourth one. And depending on how you do it, you could achieve numerous designs. You could do spirals, you could do, 2 sets of spirals, 3 sets, 4 sets. There's a lot of options. So, with that being said, why not just go ahead and do, say, 18 pieces, 24 pieces? Well, you can, and there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, there's some beautiful pieces out there that are done that way. What I don't like about it is you have a limited time to work with this glue. And 12 seems to be a good number for me to get all the glue on all the surfaces and get it clamped without it starting to set up. Once you start getting 18, 24, and on up there, you have to figure out other methods, like maybe doing 2 sets, and then 2 sets, and then 2 sets, and so on, and then combining to 4, combining to 8, and eventually you get your entire ring. In my workshop anyway, space is always a luxury, and to have an entire workbench tied up with partially pieced together rings is really not an option. So for that reason, I like 12, and again, it's easy to do, and the designs are relatively limitless. So again, make your own decisions, your own choices, and hey, as always, experiment. don't just take my word for it. Do some experiment. Maybe you can get the glue on and the clamps on quicker. But as always, just experiment and keep trying.